Have you ever had a moment where you were just you, not filtered, not polished, not trying to impress anyone, just raw, unedited, laughing too loud, saying what you really think, you. And someone said, "I love your vibe." And you were like, "This? This is just me not overthinking." That right there, that's authenticity. It's rare, it's powerful, and it's what we're all secretly starving for. But here's the problem. Most of us don't know how to be ourselves because we've spent our entire lives performing. We've learned how to be liked, how to be safe, how to be acceptable, but not how to be real. And in this video, we're changing that. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to recognize your real self beneath all the roles you've been playing, what authenticity actually feels like in your body, why it repels the wrong people and magnetizes the right ones, and how to start living from that place, even in a world that constantly tells you to hide. So stay with me till the end, because this might be the first time you finally meet the real you. And she's not too much. She's not enough. She's everything you've been searching for. Let's be real. Most of us don't know how to just be ourselves, because we've never actually met ourselves. We've met our polite version, our funny version, our don't make things awkward version, our Zoom meeting voice version. But our real self? The one who sings in the car like they're headlining Coachella, the one who laugh snorts at memes alone in bed, the one who gets emotional over a sunset, or rage eats Takis when life gets hard. Yeah, that version rarely gets stage time. Let me ask you something honest. When's the last time you felt like you weren't performing? Not trying to sound smart, not trying to sound cool, not trying to avoid judgment, just fully present. That feeling, that's what we're chasing here. Not a performance, not a persona, but a warm, grounded presence inside of you that says, "This is me." And when that version of you shows up, it's magnetic. No, seriously, it literally repels the wrong people and attracts the right ones. You don't have to chase, you don't have to prove, you just are, and that's more than enough. But here's the mind-blowing part. Authenticity doesn't take effort, it takes removal. You don't have to become more real. You just have to stop filtering the realness that's already there. Authenticity isn't something you build. It's something you remember. It's not something you unlock when you're successful, or skinny, or healed, or perfect. It's already living inside of you, curled up under the armor. Let me give you a visual. Authenticity feels like that moment when you're belting out your favorite song in the car and you forget the windows are down. You're singing like nobody's listening, until you lock eyes with a stranger at a red light. For 1.2 seconds, you panic, and then you both laugh, because you were caught being real, and it was beautiful. That's the vibe, and here's why it matters. When you're performing, people fall in love with the role, not the real you. And the terrifying part? You'll start thinking the real you doesn't deserve love, because they never even met her. But when you show up as your full self, you don't attract love. You reveal who truly belongs in your life. So let's land this part of the journey with one big truth. You were never too much. You were just in rooms that wanted less of you. But that changes now. From this moment forward, we're not playing roles. We're not dimming down. We're not asking for permission to be real. We're stepping into a version of ourselves that doesn't perform. She just exists. And that's powerful. But let's be honest. That version of you, she doesn't just show up out of nowhere. She's been buried beneath years of pretending, of pleasing, of twisting yourself into shapes that kept you accepted, but never seen. And before we can fully step into her, the real you, we've got to understand what's been covering her up all this time. In the next chapter, we're going to talk about the masks we wear, the sneaky, invisible roles we've taken on just to survive. You'll learn where they come from, why they were never your fault, and how to gently peel them off without losing who you are underneath. Because the truth is, you never lost your real self. You just got really good at hiding her. And now, it's time to bring her back to life. Let's go. What if the you people see isn't the real you? Not because you're fake, but because you were taught to hide. Taught to shrink, taught to be less weird, more polite, more put together. You didn't mean to become someone else. It just happened, little by little, moment by moment. And now, you look in the mirror and think, Who even am I without all this pretending? Let's talk about the masks. Not the ones we wear at parties. I'm talking about the silent, sneaky, soul-suffocating kind. The "I'm fine" mask. The hyper-capable mask. The happy-go-lucky even though I'm crumbling mask. The mask that smiles when your heart is screaming. The mask that nods when you want to run. The mask that performs. Because being real used to feel unsafe. You see, most of us didn't choose our masks. They were survival gear. Think back. Did you grow up in a home where being sensitive made you too dramatic? Or where asking for help made you needy? Or where speaking your truth got you punished? Or worse, ignored? So what did you do? You adapted. You became easy to like. You stopped asking for what you needed. You stayed quiet. You shrank yourself into a version of you that felt less risky to love. And here's the kicker. It worked. Sort of. You got the praise. You got the acceptance. Maybe even the applause. But deep inside, you started to rot. Because every time you wear a mask for someone else's comfort, you betray the real you, the one crying out underneath. And over time, that betrayal starts to feel normal. You walk into a room and instantly scan. Who do I need to become to be safe here? You laugh at jokes that aren't funny. You act low maintenance even though your needs are screaming. You play dumb so people don't feel threatened by your brilliance. But here's the truth. Your soul isn't confused. It knows the mask isn't you. That tension you feel? That tightness in your chest? That's your spirit whispering, "Hey, remember me?" So what do we do? How do we start peeling off the masks without falling apart? Here's what I've learned, and it changed everything. Step 1. Realize the mask isn't who you are. You may have worn it for years, but you weren't born with it. It was placed on you, and now it's time to take it off. Step 2. Reconnect with the version of you before the world told you who to be. Before shame said you were too much. Before life said you were not enough. Close your eyes. Picture little you. What did they love? What made them feel alive? That is your compass. I remember going to a party once. You know, the kind with tiny cheese cubes and people pretending to enjoy talking about stocks. Yeah, that kind. Anyway, I walked in with my put-together, polished, professional mask on. And then this one woman said, "You seem so calm and confident." And I was like, "I just stress ate a box of Cheez-Its in my car and cried over a TikTok, but okay." But instead of smiling politely and keeping the lie going, I told her the truth. And you know what? She cracked up, and we ended up having the most real conversation about anxiety, imposter syndrome, and how freaking weird it is to be a human sometimes. And just like that, poof, the mask was gone, and I felt free. Every time you tell the truth about who you are, you melt a mask. Not just for you, but for the people around you too. When you're real, you give other people permission to be real. And suddenly, we're not performing anymore, we're connecting. But what about the fear, the judgment, the rejection? Oh yeah, it's real, and it's scary. But you know what's scarier? Living your whole life as a watered-down version of yourself, just to keep people who don't really see you. You deserve to be loved for your realness, not your role. And yes, some people will walk away when you drop the mask. But hear me loud and clear. They were never clapping for you. They were clapping for your costume. Let them leave. So here's your next mission, brave soul. Notice your masks. Notice when you slip into performance. Notice who makes you feel like you have to be smaller, and who makes you feel safe to be bigger. Because authenticity isn't just about you changing. It's also about choosing environments and people where your soul can breathe. Coming up in the next chapter, we'll dive into how to stay connected to your authenticity, even in spaces that feel unsafe, awkward, or downright triggering. It's not just about feeling free, it's about staying free. Because let's be real, freedom is easy when the sun is shining. The real test is, can you stay rooted in your truth when the storm rolls in? Can you hold your light in rooms that try to dim it? Can you stay soft in spaces that once made you hard? That's what we're exploring next. Not just the joy of finding yourself, but the strength it takes to keep showing up as her. See, being your authentic self is easy, until you're surrounded by people who make you question it. You ever have one of those days where you finally feel like you again? Your vibe is vibing, your light is lighting. And then someone says something sideways, and suddenly you're like, oops, never mind, let me shrink real quick. Yeah, been there. Many times. But here's the truth. Authenticity isn't a one-time achievement. It's a daily practice, and sometimes it's a freaking battle. So how do we stay real when being real feels risky? Let's be honest, we've all got our trigger zones. That one family member who treats your feelings like a joke, that coworker who glares every time you speak up, that group chat where you're basically invisible unless you're agreeing with the crowd. And in those moments, authenticity doesn't feel safe. It feels dangerous. But here's the shift. Authenticity isn't about being loud or rebellious. It's about being true, even if only you know it. Inner authenticity is still authenticity. I was once in a room full of people gossiping about someone I loved. Old me would have nodded quietly, just to blend in. But new me, I didn't clap back, I didn't cause a scene, I just didn't participate. I held my ground, silently. I chose alignment over approval. And that, my friend, that's real power. Authenticity isn't always about what you say. It's about what you don't abandon inside yourself. You can feel awkward and still be aligned. You can disagree and still be respectful. You can feel scared and still be true. That's emotional maturity. That's soul integrity. But what about the times you mess up? What if you fall back into the mask? Listen, you're human. You're gonna slip. You're gonna say yes when you meant no. You're gonna people please. You're gonna laugh at a joke that makes your soul cringe. And guess what? That doesn't make you fake. It makes you aware. Because now, you can feel the friction. The mask doesn't fit anymore. And that's growth. Growth isn't about perfection. It's about choosing again, and again, and again. Every time you notice the disconnection and choose to come back to yourself, even in the smallest way, you're rewiring your nervous system. You're retraining your soul to stay home, even when the world gets noisy. Let me drop this in your spirit. Your authentic self is not lost. She's not broken. She's not hiding in some faraway future where everything is finally perfect. She's been here the whole time. She's the one who's watching you try so hard to please everyone. She's the one who whispers, "This isn't me." She's the one who dances in the kitchen at midnight, who cries when the sky turns pink, who laughs too loud at memes, who feels too much and dreams too big. She's not gone. She's just been waiting for you to stop abandoning her. So how do we stop abandoning ourselves when things get hard? Here's what works for me. Practice micro-authenticity. Start small. Say, "I don't know" when you don't. Say, "That made me uncomfortable" when it did. Say, "I actually love that weird thing," even if they look at you sideways. Choose spaces where your soul feels safe, not comfortable, safe. Comfort can be a trap. Safety is a sanctuary. Watch your patterns, not with shame, with curiosity. When do you disappear? When do you shrink? When do you start performing? Awareness is the first act of rebellion. And when you feel that discomfort rise, don't run. Sit with it. Awkwardness is not the enemy. It's the training ground. It's your nervous system, learning to hold your truth without shutting down. The more you stay, the more your body learns, "I'm safe, even now, even here." And that, my friend, is when real authenticity becomes unshakable. Because here's the most beautiful truth I know. Authenticity isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you to be someone else. It's not about being fearless. It's about being faithful to your soul, to your truth, to your light. Even when your voice shakes, even when the room is silent, even when no one claps, you still shine. Because your light doesn't need permission. I just want to take a second to thank you for walking through this with me. This whole journey back to yourself. It's not easy, but it's sacred. If this resonated with you, tell me in the comments, what's one moment recently where you chose your real self, even when it felt scary? Let's celebrate those micro victories together. And if you're still figuring it out, that's okay too. You're not behind. You're exactly where you're meant to be. Until next time, keep showing up. Keep choosing you. Keep practicing. Because the world doesn't need more perfect people. It needs real ones. And you, my friend, you're realer than you know.